What's going on, guys? This is Aussie Van Man. How are you doing today? Today we have an exciting venture for you. We're on the road. We're looking for historic places today, and we just filled up with gas. Our first stop is Bonita, Arizona. It is, I do believe it's an unincorporated township in Graham County, Arizona. I did read up on it last night. I forgot about the history, so I should do a little bit of reading up before I present to you guys. But we just filled up in just outside of Benson, Arizona. We've got 100 miles to go, guys, so let's go. Alright guys, so we are here at the Bonita store here. I thought there would actually be more of a town here. I literally see a large house over this way and then just this. We're just not too far outside of Willcox, Arizona. But yeah, there's no actual shops here. This is once what was left of any shops that might have been here. It's the only real shop or structure other than that house that I see remaining over this side. The rest of it appears to be all farmland. This shop was operating for well over 100 years, as you can see, closed its doors since. Now, this is a pretty cool relic from the Wild West past. A well-known outlaw actually roamed these parts probably a little bit more before he got famous. This is actually the area where apparently Billy the Kid had killed his first victim. Now, the stories are conflicting a little bit. Some say that it happened right here. Some other stories say that it was a few miles away from here. Now, this place, before it was a store, was actually a saloon here. So the story is Billy the Kid, who was a cook at a camp up at Camp Grant. I guess, I don't know if it was a fort at the time, but it became a fort. And now I believe it's a prison or something, if I'm thinking of the right one. Anyway, Billy the Kid was a cook at the Camp Grant, and he'd come down into the area here to drink at a saloon. Some say it was this saloon, some say it was another saloon a couple of miles away. He got into a fight with a local blacksmith, and Billy the Kid drew on him and fired. Now, that blacksmith did die the next day from his wounds, and from then on started Billy the Kid's life down that path. Now, we can't go into this store. It's closed up, and as you can well see, it's fenced off because a lot of people were coming into this property sightseeing, and this is private property. I love the fact that they have kept this building alive. You can see on the walls recently they've fixed it up on the side here, and it still stands today. It's a great piece of history. Love to see people keeping history alive like this. I myself, as you guys know, I'm a huge history buff, and man, would I love to get inside that building. First little pit stop here on our history drive today. Now we're gonna pack up in the van and head on to our next one. Alright guys, so we are here in Clifton, Arizona. Very cool town. Instantly, as I drove into the town, the first thing I could see is a giant mining operation here. And assuming that's what keeps this tiny little town afloat. But a very strange town. It's kind of built into a canyon, which makes it kind of subject to flood. And apparently in, I think, the 70s, twice it got flooded in one year, and again in, I think, the 80s. So they built a giant gate, but this main road goes through the middle of the town, so they can't keep the gate closed all the time, so it's open most of the time unless it floods. But the levee occasionally will overflow, that's in the middle of the town, they had to build this giant gate that closes, big iron doors that close when it starts flooding to keep the town safe, I guess. Very cool. We're going to have a look at that as we drive through town. I'm going to put the GoPro up on the roof. All right, so it's a little bit noisy here in town, but right behind me we have Clifton's first jail, and it was actually blasted into this giant rock wall here down into the tunnels. There's tunnels made and 2 giant prison rooms. And funny story is, I'm trying to remember the date, 1881. I could be wrong on that. I'll put the date right here if I was wrong. They had a stonemason build this jail because everyone that was getting convicted in the town was just simply fleeing the area instead of staying put. So they dug out the prison right out of the hard rock here. And true story, the first inhabitants of this prison was actually the very man who dug it. He got paid quite a bit to make it. When the project was complete, he was in the local drinking hall partying, which also was owned by the local sheriff, and he started firing his gun into the air there, which landed him right in here. And he was the first guy to be convicted and put into this jail, the very jail that he built, guys. Pretty wild story. There's a lot more to this town. There's some funky looking buildings, which you've probably seen me put up here, but look in the walls here. This outer building here, look at all the ore. So this is all you can see, like the fluorite and malachite and all that stuff, or malachite, however you pronounce it. Some people pronounce it differently. But all this ore in the walls here, this beautiful mineral color, all right here. Very, very cool, guys. And then we have this pretty cool train. It's a little small, so I don't know, maybe it was a mining train. I'm not too sure. I'm gonna look around on it, see if I can get a bit of info on it here. Now, I think this is the local bar. It must be one of the only bars because it's absolutely packed here. One of the only places where I'm seeing tons of people. And over here, I don't know what we have here. I don't know if this has something to do with the mining operations or if this has something to do with the railroad. But we did already walk past the rail station. Let's see if there's any info outside this building. So this is interesting. You can see up here there's a giant alarm, like air raid siren up here or something. My guess is probably that's like a flood warning or avalanche warning over here. Very interesting. I have not seen one of those in a town before. Over on this hillside you can see some ruins of past mining times. All these retaining walls here and staircases going up the hillside here, where there probably were some very small miners' homes sort of built onto the side of this hillside here. And again over here it looks like there was some sort of industrial thing to do with the mining. Over here you can see this giant pipe coming out of the wall up off the top here, and then old foundations along the wall here. Very cool. And here we have a giant earth moving shovel. This was donated by Dodge Phelps Mining Industry, and here it sits. I don't know how long it's been sitting here for, but this thing is an absolute Goliath. So this fence here reaches about to my chin. So that's just goes to show how big this thing is. It's absolutely gigantic, guys. Alright guys, it's starting to get pretty late and I've got to get out to another area for the night to stay, so I'm probably going to have to leave Clifton, although there's a bunch of things that sounded interesting. I didn't see some of the stores that I wanted to go check out, or some of the places I want to go check out looked like they might have been closed already. So we may have to put Clifton, Arizona on come back to list. Maybe I'll bring my friends here. I think my friends would really find this town pretty cool to hang out. I don't know what the camping situation is out here, but there's got to be something nearby, I'd say. Now, real quickly, let me grab the phone for a second. I just noticed all the way up at the top of that, I don't know if it's a canyon or a mountain, whatever that is, that giant formation there. They got all these flags of the world hanging up at the top. I have no idea what that is at the top or how to get there, but there must be a way to get up there. Maybe I'll try to find a way up there before we head out. Alright guys, apparently it's got to be hiked too, so I won't be making it up to... It's called Mayor's Bluff, by the way, with all the flags up there. It's a veterans memorial. So there's a bunch of dog tags up there too that have been donated apparently, so that's kind of cool. And yeah, a bunch of different flags up there. So anyway, we got to get going. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. What do you think of Clifton? Have you guys been to Clifton before? Never knew about this town. I heard about the little prison in the rocks, and that's what brought me here. And then I was like, oh my lord, this place is really cool. Looks like some rich history here. That little main street that I drove down there kind of looked like Bisbee a little bit, except a little bit more run down. I guess this town's a little bit more forgotten. The only thing really keeping this place afloat is the mining industry. It's not a huge tourist town by the looks of it. Maybe that'll all change. It's a very cute little town. I think this could be a tourist town. The only problem is it's kind of a long way to get out here is the problem. I think that's why it didn't really pick up. Alright guys, we're going to get off to our next destination for the night, and then we'll be starting some more travel in the morning. So you know what to do. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, and until next time, this is Aussie Man, and we'll see you maybe later. Alright, I'll catch you later. What's going on here?